Lions. They are one of the most impressive and strongest predators on Earth. They can bring down large prey with their strong muscles and huge claws. Their terrifying roars can be heard almost 8 kilometers away. And of course, they look spectacular, especially the males with their magnificent manes. Being so impressive and majestic, lions are perhaps the most iconic animals humans have accepted for symbolizing power, honor, and often royalty. They have been put on flags and coats of arms, even in countries where lions are not native animals, including England, where the lion is the national animal. Considering they have such a great fame, it makes sense that in most cultures, lions are also known as the king of the jungle. Or does it? I mean, does it really make sense to call a lion the king of the jungle? Hello everyone, I am Bruce and welcome to Critical Curiosity, the show where we answer interesting questions and question uninteresting answers. Today's video is about a widely known saying about one of the biggest felines on earth, the lion, being the king of the jungle. Perhaps you have never thought too much about this moniker. After all, even if you have never seen a lion in person, we all know that they are big, strong, scary apex predators, which means they are at the top of their food chain and they have no natural predators that hunt them. And the jungle is such a wild environment that you can call it the world of animals. So of course one could imagine lions as the rulers of the animal world, hence the jungle. This idea is why in many cultures around the world, especially in Europe, lions have been historically used as an icon for power and royalty. Well, since you are watching this video, probably you too have noticed that there is a problem with the concept of lions being the king of the jungle. Lions don't live in the jungle. At least not the jungle that you would define with that term today. More on that later. As you probably know, most lions live in dry, open grassland plains, such as the savannas of Africa. Characteristically, lions require open plain fields to be able to hunt. There are lion species that live in bushlands or open woodlands too, such as the ones native to Asia. But none of the typical lion species live in the lush, green, wet, rainforest environment that you would imagine when you hear the term jungle today. So, the king of the jungle sounds wrong, doesn't it? Well, in fact, if you want to be picky, which I usually am, we can also argue about lions being worthy to be called the king of anything really. If you think about it, lions are not even the strongest, nor the biggest animals in any of the environments they live in. They are not particularly fast compared to other animals as well. While lions don't have other predators that actively hunt them, there are much bigger and stronger animals. In the savanna alone, there are elephants, rhinos, hippos. These animals can shadow lions in both size and power. Large crocodiles too are usually stronger than lions, especially in water. Heck, even porcupines are basically untouchable to lions thanks to their quills. And if lions would really live in the jungle, animals like gorillas, bears, and tigers will defeat them in multiple aspects. Yes, if you didn't know, tigers are also bigger and stronger than lions. So lions are not even the strongest among just felines. Okay, we are not here to insult lions. Even if they are not the biggest or the strongest, lions are still stunningly scary and magnificent animals. Of course, humans have used them as icons of power and royalty because of how male lions look with their impressive manes, how their social hierarchy is structured, which is called pride, and how dangerous of a challenge it was to hunt a lion with the traditional methods. Also, the lion roar has a unique nature that can impress anyone. My point is that sometimes we accept such concepts without questioning them. So let's return to our main topic. Why are lions called the king of the jungle when they don't live in the jungle? Why the jungle? There are a few theories regarding the origin of this moniker. One theory claims that this saying is a remnant from the far past, from the times when lions used to be native in the jungles of Europe and Asia as well, as opposed to only in certain parts of Africa and India like now. This is only partially correct because, based on fossils, lions were thought to be roaming around in Europe as far as 700,000 years ago, maybe even longer. Of course, it's not plausible to imagine that the king of the jungle concept could have originated such a long time ago, as the modern form of humans have evolved only about 200,000 years ago. Another theory connects the moniker's origin to the British royal houses. The British coat of arms depicts a lion and a unicorn flanking a shield. As I mentioned in the beginning too, the lion is the national animal of England. and the unicorn represents Scotland. Of course, both animals are not native to these countries. I am pretty sure there are no unicorns in Scotland. The theory claims that when British royal houses put lions in their coats of arms, most people didn't know the true origin of the animal, so they imagined it would be living in the jungle. This theory also attempts to explain the king part of the moniker by claiming that people must have related the animal with the royalty, as they used it as an icon. Particularly the rulers like the famous Crusader King of England, Richard the Lionheart. While this theory has some plausible points, we have a stronger theory. For a more logically satisfactory theory, we can look at the linguistic records. If you check its roots, you will see that the English word jungle comes from the Sanskrit word jangala, which means rough and arid terrain. This word has passed to English in the late 18th century through Hindi, and until around the 19th century, the term jungle meant wilderness in English. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that jungle came to mean something like a rainforest or dense forest. If we imagine people actually meant the king of the wilderness when they say the king of the jungle, it makes more sense, doesn't it? Also, considering there are lions native to India, the actual origin of the whole saying might be Indian as well. Although I couldn't find any record of a similar saying being used in India prior to the 18th century, it seems plausible to me that people of this region where lions actually live could originate such a saying, at least in a similar form. But of course, this is just my speculation. Well, speaking of speculations, I want to point out why it is important to distinguish facts from speculations. While speculations can help you come up with new ideas or move towards new clues when you are searching for answers, you should remember that they are just theories without firm evidence. Such speculations, especially when they are created without much thought put into them, can lead people to misconceptions. And these can spread massively. Take today's topic, the king of the jungle saying. Because of the modern meaning of the word jungle, this saying caused many people to accept that lions indeed live in forests. Even though these days we have many sources of information that people can use to confirm this concept, and when they think about it, most people, even children, actually know that lions live in savannas. Many people would not see anything wrong if you show them a picture depicting a lion in a rainforest. If you don't believe it, I encourage you to try this picture test on your family or your friends. Please share your results in the comments too. This misconception is mostly caused by the king of the jungle saying. In fact, it is so widely spread that there are cultures in the world where people have taken the moniker to their language with its modern translation. For example, in Turkish, which I can speak, lions have a similar moniker that would translate as the king of forests, with no apparent logic or origin in records other than the translations of the imported English literature. At this point, it is almost impossible to explain to so many people why this concept is wrong. I am telling you about this to show how misconceptions can spread uncontrollably if we don't question the concepts we are presented with and we take them with their surface values. Even today, when most of us have access to the internet with smart devices in our palms, there are so many common misconceptions that people don't bother to check online before spreading them in chats or even defending them in arguments. Honestly, it annoys me. Let me give you a quick set of examples of such common misconceptions. Many people think that
Thomas Edison invented the light bulb.
Some even think that
No, he invented electricity.
Thomas Edison did not invent the light bulb. And he certainly did not invent electricity. He just developed a light bulb with a carbonite bamboo filament that is more practical compared to the light bulbs at the time. Even that got quickly surpassed by a much better cellulose filament invention by Joseph Swan just a year later. Many people think that
Caesarean section name comes from Julius Caesar, as he was born via this method.
Julius Caesar was not born via Caesarean section. Such a procedure would be fatal to a mother at the time, but his mother is known to be alive when Caesar was 45 years old. The term probably comes from the Latin verb cadere, meaning to cut. Many people think that
Christopher Columbus was the first European to discover America.
Christopher Columbus was not the first European to visit the Americas. It would be the Viking party of Leif Erikson, and possibly other Vikings before him. as the ruins of their settlement in Canada confirm a narrative in the saga of Eric the Red. Many people think that
Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake" when her people were hungry.
the phrase "let them eat cake" is wrongly attributed to Marie Antoinette. She was just 9 years old when this phrase was published in Jean-Jacques Rousseau's book, and it was attributed to a great princess in the book, without a name. Many people think that
Napoleon Bonaparte was very short.
Napoleon Bonaparte was not short for an average Frenchman of his time. After his death in 1821, his height was recorded as 5 feet 2 inches in French feet, which in English measurements is 5 feet 7 inches. It is believed that his moniker, the Little Corporal, could have originated from how he was looking short next to his imperial guards, who were selected from particularly tall soldiers. Many people think that
The Great Wall of China is the only human-made object visible from space.
some others think that
No, dude, it is visible from the moon.
the Great Wall of China is not the only human-made object visible from space, or the orbit, or the moon. None of the astronauts have reported such a thing. After all, even though it is very long, the structure of the Great Wall is only 5 to 6 meters wide. And if it was visible from space, it wouldn't be the only structure, as there would be countless other buildings with an area bigger than 5 meters to 5 meters. But based on the reports, no human-made structure is visible from space, other than the stellites at night. As you can see, such misconceptions are usually very easy to check and confirm these days, just by doing some quick research online. Of course, you will need to be able to filter out countless websites and social media posts that just repeat the same misconceptions. But with some common sense and cross-referencing, it is not difficult to read some proper data to confirm if a concept is true or false. The vital part is to do the research. And that is why I am here. Like I have said in the beginning, this show, Critical Curiosity, is here to answer interesting questions and question uninteresting answers. And of course, we will also point out the common misconceptions when we get the chance. If you have any questions that you want to be answered in a video, you can ask them through the comment sections of our videos. Subscribe now and ring the bell to get notified for those future videos. See you in the next video.